Bada boom, we are live. Make sure Facebook is feeding it. It takes a second. So if you're on YouTube watching, I apologize. We're going live on Facebook now as well. So let's check it out to make sure that we're good to go. Lessons from day one is don't go live without checking that you are live. So I just got to make sure, just common practice, make sure we're good to go. Sorry, next chapter conversations. Let's see here. So am I live right now? Should start feeding any second now. Let's check out YouTube real quick to make sure. This is day 5 of the Content Marketing Lab Live. I am banking on most everybody that's going to be watching this. They're not watching it live. So again, if you haven't gone back to actually look at any of the hour-long streams that we have done this week, then make sure you go back and listen to those, because everything that I went through, literally 5 hours of content, I don't expect everybody to be watching those, but sift through whatever makes the most sense for you. But on these streams, I'm literally going through everything you need to know about getting your podcast going and staying consistent with it, getting your social media, your YouTube channel going and staying consistent with it. Give you a lot of tips, operational stuff like, hiring your best video editors and what to look out for with that and that sort of thing, how to create topics, and literally everything that needs to be talked about with content marketing we went over. So that being said, today I'm just making sure that YouTube's good. YouTube is good. It looks like Facebook is good. Gabby is my IT support, so she is virtual. She's not with me today, but she's virtual and says that we are good to go. So I think we're rocking and rolling. Let's roll. So I'm gonna heart my wife's comments here. There we go. Show her a little bit of love. My biggest supporter ever. Her and my mom, big supporters. So let's go and hop in. So today's going to be, honestly, I saved the best for last, because today is going to by far be my absolute favorite topic to discuss. We're talking AI, all things AI. That's the only thing we're talking about today. We skimmed over it just a little bit over the last couple of days on some of those topics that we went through. But today I have a long list of notes that we are going to be going through. So I'm going to try to get through these. You're going to have to bear with me because there's a lot to go through. So just try to pay attention. If you have questions, like, I am monitoring comments. So if you have questions, drop those in the chat. I can see on YouTube the chat, and I can also see on Facebook. So if you have questions at all, if you want me to stop somewhere and regurgitate anything, then don't hesitate to ask. But I'm not going to waste time. It's 2:01. We have a lot to talk about. So AI, let's get into it. I'm just going to tell you right now, this is not any kind of like, you got to get on the bandwagon like everybody was talking about 5 years ago with social media. You got to get on it and that sort of thing. You're going to miss the boat. Guys, it's already happening. Like, it's here. If you aren't utilizing AI for your content and taking it seriously, if you have a business, you are going to get washed out very quickly. If we've learned anything about human history over the years, once a technology is implemented, the speed in which it takes for that to take off accelerates other things. AI is the next wave of, it's basically the next, what was the internet. The internet created a lot of things. The internet created social media. The internet created search. The internet really created like on-demand video content and has opened a lot of doorways for a lot of things. AI is that next frontier. It truly is. And it absolutely opens so many different doors. Obviously today, with what we're going to talk about, we're talking about mainly content marketing. That's primarily what we're going to be talking about the whole time, how to utilize it. I'm going to show you a lot of like real life examples on how we use it in our team. And we create roughly about 1,000 pieces of content every single week across all platforms, between podcast, YouTube, social media, between all my team members, including myself. So we use a lot of AI stuff to help us with this. And if we were doing this live session a year ago, I wouldn't have any of this to talk about. But in just under 13 to 14, 15 months, AI has taken off so quickly. I remember sitting at my kitchen counter when people were talking about ChatGPT, and I started exploring it, and I was asking it stupid questions. And now how fast it's grown and how much of an impact it has made to everyday life, we have to take it seriously. And with content, the way that I'm looking at it, and I'll explain this here. I have a slideshow that I actually did at a mastermind showing you guys a live demonstration of how this is impacting your business specifically in ways that you probably don't think it is. So we're going to talk about that, but then also like tools. But with the way that AI is going, it is a household thing at this point. For me specifically, and I'll just tell you straight up, I have not Googled something, meaning I went to Google and looked for a search result in probably 5 or 6 months, not once. All I do is open ChatGPT and ask it to give it to me. And that's it. And I'll tell you why that's important. For example, for lunch today, I was craving chicken nuggets, but I'm a pretty healthy eater. I wasn't planning on going to McDonald's. And so I asked ChatGPT, is there a healthy recipe? Here's the ingredients I have. At first, it told me to use almond flour. I looked in my pantry. I didn't have almond flour. I was out. Then it said, as a substitute, you could use a straightforward 1-to-1 ratio of rolled oats and just blend it down to a powder. And then that's an exact replica of flour. I was like, okay, cool. Made it. Turned out perfectly great. However, it was a little dry. So then I went right back to that thread and said, ChatGPT, my nuggets came out a little bit dry. How do I make sure they're moistened up next time? And it gave me an answer. Add oil to it. Make sure that you mix that in with the nuggets and then spray it consistently throughout the cooking. It gave me exact answers of what I am looking for. And that is unrivaled. You cannot get that from just, now you can with Gemini, but you can't just go to Google and look for that. I'm going to tell you the differences between Google and ChatGPT and AI and how that's going to impact everyday life. But guys, it's here. This is the rise. The way I'm looking at it too, the way I've tried to explain it over the last couple months as I talk about this a lot is, and I have quite a few videos on my YouTube channel if you haven't subscribed to that yet, where I'm talking specifically about some of these things and how to use them with AI. But one of the things from the scope that I look at is if we wind the clocks back about 5 years, so right around COVID, so 2019, 2020, everybody and their mother was doing social media. And it was really that rise of like, the reason why they were doing it is because there's a big wave where you could actually put a post out, get very, very good organic content or organic traffic, and you could grow by just literally posting every single day. That's not what it is today. Social media has taken kind of a downturn over the last 2 years or so, where it doesn't matter if you post like 20 times a day, you could get completely drowned out just because the algorithm chooses what goes viral, what does well, what gets traction based on user retention and click-through rates, which we talked about yesterday. And AI helps kind of lay that out. And there's a lot of AI algorithms, and that's really what algorithms are, is just artificial intelligence putting together math problems and putting content out there. Whereas like you could literally just be pulling up to a house in a Lamborghini and have like a wad of cash in your hand, and that video could go viral in 2021. That's not the way it works today. So what we have to do is keep an eye on that. But what I'm trying to get at is we saw this wave, this influx of social media in 2019, 2020, 2021. Then it started to do this. And now it's resurged with AI, but from a completely different context, which we're going to go over today. And the reason why it's more important now than it ever has been is because of search. That's it. That's literally the main reason why it's so important today. So I'm going to share my screen because I have some slides to go over. I am extremely excited about this because I think this is going to help a lot of people. And it doesn't matter if you are a real estate investor, if you own a donut shop, if you own an auto parts store, or whatever it is, especially if you have a brick and mortar location. This presentation, the slides that I have here are going to help you get to where you need to be when it comes to AI and search. So the reason why I am so honestly bullish about content impacting AI is because content is what AI pulls to give you answers. So let me give you a very clear example. Like I gave my example of the chicken nuggets that I wanted to make for lunch. I would not have been able to get that recipe had somebody on the internet not already made that recipe and then uploaded it in a video or a blog format. ChatGPT never would have given that to me, because I'll show you here in a second. It was kind of funny when I was putting this presentation together. I put this presentation together back in April, I think. and presented it at Collective Genius to a group of real estate investors. And as I was putting it together, I had ChatGPT give me all the information. And it basically very flat out said, we can't give you search results based on nothing. Like there has to be something that like I as ChatGPT index in order to give as a search result. So content is literally how ChatGPT is giving you those search results. Same thing for Gemini, same thing for Claude, same thing for Grok, all of it. They have to have something to literally index in order to be able to go back to the searcher and, you know, tell it what it is. And the level of severity of this is, especially like I said, if you're a brick and mortar, if you have an office, if you're a house buyer, if you own a restaurant or you own a coffee shop or whatever it is, if you're not putting content out that is high key phrase, keywords, and that sort of thing throughout like all of your platforms that are relevant, and obviously based off of the content that the plans that we have created over the last couple of days, you are going to be irrelevant when it comes to search with AI, because what somebody's going to do is they're going to say, I am craving a great iced caramel macchiato that's not from Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts. What's a great local coffee shop that I can go get an iced caramel macchiato for that has really good reviews? How specific I was with that search. If I put that into Google, Google's not going to give me an answer. It's going to just show me like, all right, well, here's all the coffee shops that you could go after. If I put that in ChatGPT or Gemini, Google Gemini, specifically that question, it's going to literally index all the reviews, anything that anybody has ever put out for these coffee shops, and then give me the exact one that I need to go to. Like if there's a specific, Gabby's pregnant now and she's been craving spaghetti. Like if we are in an area and she's like, it hits her and she's like, I need spaghetti, then we can literally go to ChatGPT and say, we want the best spaghetti on the market right now because my wife is pregnant. Where do we go to get it? And then it'll tell us exactly where to go to get it. You don't do that with Google. And so that's where you as a business, you want to be indexed. That's the main thing here. So let's talk about AI and content and how to build your brand with AI and content. So the first thing is, we talked about this in, I think it was day 2, and we specifically said that video content is literally just like, all it is answering questions. The definition of content marketing is to answer the questions that your target demographic has about who you are, what you do, and your industry. That's what video content is. Well, guess what, guys? AI is literally built to just answer questions precisely based on context. So that's why it's important now than ever than when you're on your video or when you're on your podcast, you talk about things that, because every single piece of content that you ever put out on the internet, on Apple Podcasts, on YouTube Shorts, on Instagram, it's all getting transcribed 100% of the time. And these search results are indexing those pieces of content and scraping the web for that in order to be able to give the consumer, the user, an answer that's precise to what the context is. Like I gave the example of Gabby being pregnant but wanting spaghetti, so she doesn't want like a half-rate spaghetti, she wants the best. Then that's what the AI search engines are going to look for and give us in return. Let me put this on do not disturb. Sorry guys, my friends are blowing up our chat right now, so let's see here. Let me just mute this. Okay. So that being said, that's the things that we really have to think about when it comes to leveraging AI. And by the way, if you haven't already, especially if you're a real estate investor, but this is actually relevant to people that are not in real estate as well. I have a podcast called the REI Marketing Weekly, and there's 2 episodes that we did, one with Matt Bagak and who was the second one that we did it with? Oh, geez, Brian Sakine. I don't know why I didn't remember that. Brian Sakine. And we talked about AI and how it's leveraged for your business and that sort of thing. And they're both actual experts when it comes to like the GEO side of and the build out of AI. So make sure you go listen to those, because those will give you a whole lot more depth than what we go over today. But that being said, that's why it's important. So I did this presentation in front of real estate investors. It's still going to be relevant to everybody. Like the exact principles that I bring you are going to be the exact same. So still pay attention. So the difference between like Google and ChatGPT or Gemini or Grok. And by the way, I use ChatGPT all the time. That's my go-to. When ChatGPT 5 comes out, it's going to just outrank everybody in my opinion. But this is rinse and repeat. So if you use Grok, if you use Claude, if you use Gemini, whatever, I don't care. It's going to be kind of the same. Just replace ChatGPT with your favorite AI platform. So when we talk about the differences here, obviously, again, like if I go to Google and I search for, let's just like, we'll say like we search for sell my house fast in Chicago. It's going to give me basically a list of places that I can sell my house to, but it's ultimately my decision on who I sell my house to, right? I can go choose that. And typically people will have their facets of like, they'll look for reviews, they'll look for content, they'll look for that kind of stuff. But the difference between search now with AI is that people trust it now more than ever to actually give them the exact answer that they are looking for and not provide, like it may provide options, but it's going to say, here's your number one option. So call them. And it's all based on the content that's being indexed. So obviously, like what do sellers see when they search your name, your company, or your ChatGPT, or what you do in ChatGPT in Google. So this is an exercise that I kind of want you guys to do. I'll point this out here in just a second. I'm going to show you a video. So on this video, there's no sound. I'll talk you through it. But on this video, one of my clients, Paul Myers, he's a real estate investor in Augusta, Georgia, and he heavily invests and has invested a lot into content, but then also reviews on Better Business Bureau, Google, his Google My Business and all that. I think he's approaching 1,000 reviews, positive reviews on his Google My Business page. And the amazing thing about that is AI indexes all of that content and all of those reviews. So check this out. So I put in a prompt in ChatGPT. I live in Augusta, Georgia. I just inherited a house, very specific, that I no longer want. I need to sell for cash. Who do I sell to? And then it's going to search. It's going to look everywhere. It's going to index the web. It's going to index other sites and that sort of thing. And then as it pulls up, it says, if you've inherited a house in Augusta, Georgia, looking to sell your house cash, several reputable local companies can purchase homes as is. But look at the first result. And it's actually giving me a map pack. So just like you would see on like Google Maps. And if I clicked on that, then I can get directions to the office. I can go right to the website. Hell, I can even click that call button and it'll immediately dial up on my phone and be able to call. And then the amazing thing about this is it actually gives tips for selling your inherited property. And a lot of this stuff was actually indexed from Paul's content that he put out. So we talked about how to verify ownership on probate status, how to understand the offer, request multiple offers, and that sort of thing. And then we look at the sources that it's pulling from. It's pulling from his website, MyersHouseBuyers.com, Augusta Home Buyers. It pulls from like other sources like this. And I think in one of the later examples, it starts to pull from like his YouTube channel. It pulls from his Facebook page. And then I think you'll eventually, yeah, so you see like the Facebook page, Home Lights. You see a bunch of other sources that it's pulling from. But ultimately and at this time, and he has a lot more reviews now, but at this time he has 727 reviews. And that's amazing. And that's what it's pulling from. So then I type in his house, as Myers House Buyers, a reputable company to work with. So I'm like, I see the stars, but are they actually reputable to work with? So now it's going to pull, you saw like it gave a flash of like pulling from Yelp. It pulled from Google My Business. So it shows you a well-established cash buyer company in Augusta, Georgia. They've been in business since 2007. And then they show like Google reviews, over 700 5-star verified reviews, BBB accreditation. They have accredited by the Better Business Bureau with an A+ rating. And then there's another one where it shows like this HomeLight website and industry recognition. So it has like it's basically like reputable other industry sources. And then it shows the services. And this is all basing it off content. Fast cash offer, flexible closings, no repairs needed. You guys saw how impactful that can be when it comes to, let me put it on that last slide there and pause this. But you see how impactful that can be is like, if I'm looking for a iced caramel macchiato and I ask ChatGPT and it pulls up a coffee shop and I say, is that item on the menu? It can actually pull that based on the content that maybe that coffee shop put out. But if coffee shop A did that, but coffee shop B did not have any kind of menu context or anything like that, and nothing to pull from, then AI is not going to give me that search result. I'm going to coffee shop A because I know they have what I want. That's how important this is. And then obviously, like you see here, it's giving website information, phone number, And then it says, if you're looking to sell your inherited property quickly without the typical hassles of traditional real estate transactions, Myers House Buyers is a trustworthy option to consider. It's always a good idea to reach out directly to discuss your specific situation and see how they can assist. That's amazing. So that's the importance of it. So I want you to don't do this right now, but I want you to try this on your own. We call it mystery shopping your business. Go to ChatGPT and say, and then you could replace the prompt with, I put here, I need to sell my house fast for cash in whatever market you're in. Who do I sell to? But literally whatever you do. So if I'm in social media management or podcast management, I'd go to ChatGPT and say, I need to contact somebody. Here's what I do, but I need to contact somebody that can manage a podcast and also chop up social media clips. Who should I go to? And then it's going to give options. And so do the same thing, rinse and repeat it for your business if you have one. And that's how important it is. So how I specifically again said how motivated sellers are using AI, but this is like any customer. Who is, and then put your business in there. Is company legit? What are my options to sell my house fast? Or what are my options to get an iced caramel macchiato at what shop in Cedar Lake, Indiana? These are the things that they're going to be looking for. And why AI needs to cut. So, okay, the funny part about this section is I did this on purpose. As I was building my presentation, I literally I told ChatGPT everything that I wanted to do for my presentation. And I said, I want you to build my last few slides. Just give me the information. I'm just literally going to copy and paste it straight from there. I didn't modify anything. And the results that it gave were actually pretty astounding. So what it said, actually, let me double check to make sure we're still streaming good. Oh, there's my mom. My mom commented on my Facebook. Love you too, Mom. Okay, we're good. Still streaming live. Okay, cool. So that being said, actually, is it showing? Hold on, Facebook, one second. I need to make sure that it's showing my presentation slides too, because it's not. Let's see here. Where's my Facebook profile? Oh, it is. Okay, cool. We're good. Let's hop back over to my slides. Okay. So why does AI actually need your content to trust you? And I already kind of explained this, but very simply put, ChatGPT and search engines can only pull from what exists. It's the same principles as search engines like Google, or if you go to YouTube and you look up how to change the headlight on a Honda Civic, and then it pulls up results. But ChatGPT basically is going to take context from multiple different sources, put it together, and then give you an answer. That's what it's doing. Whereas if I go to YouTube and I search that, if I went to YouTube to search for how to make healthy chicken nuggets from an air fryer, it's going to give me like 20,000 different video options with recipes, and all have like different context to them. They're using different, different ingredients, stuff like that. But what if the one that I clicked on said use almond flour, but I didn't have almond flour? Well, that's why I went to ChatGPT and said, I don't got almond flour. What can I use as a substitute? I wouldn't have been able to have that dialogue with a YouTube video as a search result. So that's the difference here. That's how ChatGPT and AI search results are actually pulling from what exists. If you haven't published content, you can't be cited. So if I were to be looking for a coffee shop where I can get Gabby an iced caramel macchiato, and it's reputable, and it's not Starbucks, and it's not Dunkin' Donuts, then if there's a local coffee shop, but they've never put out any content or any information about their menu items or anything like that, AI is not going to look for it. AI is not well, they're going to look for it, but they're not going to find anything. AI will not find any of those items that potentially are on the menu, even if they do have it, but it's never been made public on the internet. It's not even going to show them as a search result. But the next one, the next coffee shop down the street, if they did put it out there and they do have reviews, somebody reviewed and said, I got an iced caramel macchiato and it was fantastic. Make sure you get it with the oat milk instead of almond milk. It's going to pull that and show that to us. Content equals authority in the eyes of AI. This is important because AI, because of those first two, is that AI is only going to pull from what exists. So if you don't have anything that exists, then you're not going to be cited. Then you're not going to have any kind of credibility with AI, and you're going to fall behind. That's why all of what we talked about this week with creating content is so damn important, is because you need to build authority, not just in your consumers' eyes, but through AI as a platform, because consumers trust AI. So if AI is going to give the consumer an answer and it's your service or your product, that's amazing. That's you're going to have already an open door with that customer. Now it's just on you to deliver product correctly, but that's what you want. So example here is company A has 10 YouTube videos answering seller questions. Company B has a logo and a 3-page website. 3-page website sounds great, but that's not a lot of content. Who does ChatGPT trust? This is literally, I copy and pasted this straight from ChatGPT. You trust company A. And the reason is because those 10-minute videos or those 10 YouTube videos, even if they're 5 minutes a piece, that's 50 minutes of content that it's pulling from, transcribed content. That's what it's trusting. So that's why content is so important with AI. So the right type of content to win in AI search. AI prioritizes YouTube and video content. So you can also throw podcasts in there because that's audio video. Platforms like ChatGPT often pull responses from YouTube because it's the second largest search engine owned by Google. Video titles, descriptions, and even transcripts are indexed. Every single piece of video content or audio content you put out there is getting indexed and transcribed and then indexed. So giving AI rich data to use when answering questions. That's why the definition of content marketing, answering questions, is still stands true to this day. So transcripts feed the AI. Every word you say in a video gets transcribed and indexed by AI models. That means your exact phrasing, explanations, and expertise, and we could say context, can be quoted directly by tools like ChatGPT when a seller asks a question. You guys following with me? Does this make sense now? I think, oh, here we go. So create a simple video plan. So, I know, hold on one second, because I think we go over this and I don't want to do it here. Yeah, we do it here. Okay. So I just showed how to, actually, we already did this, but I showed how to be able to utilize ChatGPT to create some video topics. We're going to go over that today. Okay. So that being said, I'm going to skip through all this, but we are going to hop into some action items. Okay. This is where it's going to get really fun. I think a lot of what I just talked about is philosophy stuff and things that you need for a foundation of context to be able to build a content machine for you. But I'm just driving home the point, like, content is important and it's always been important. But now with AI and how much people trust AI, you cannot be left by the wayside, or you will not have any kind of credibility or authority in your marketplace. So, and funny enough, like, I actually asked ChatGPT for some statistics on search results. So here are some things that it gave me. So it said, let's see here. So, hold on one second. Oh, an increase of more than 70% month. Okay, so month over month, 70% results. It's growing by 70% in results for people using an AI platform to search for something as opposed to just using Google. And especially like my age demographic, like millennials, like ChatGPT is our best friend. Like most people I know that use ChatGPT have a name for ChatGPT. And that's something that, like, it's serious. It's an actual, like, it's a relationship now. Like, ChatGPT knows everything about me, and that's ultimately, like, you could think about it as good and bad, but it is very, very helpful. So this says that 60% of US adults and 74% of users under the age of 30 use tools to search for information rather than a standard search engine like Google. That was indexed 6 hours ago. So that's now. About 62% of people engaged with an AI chatbot daily, and 51% plan to increase usage. 49% believe AI may eventually replace search engines entirely within the next 6 months. And I don't see why that won't happen. Like, it's just going to grow. It's just going to grow like month over month, and it's just going to accelerate. Okay. So let's go ahead and get some practical stuff in. So I have a lot to go through. We're actually at the halfway point, so this is perfect. But I'm really excited about showing you guys some really cool stuff. Like, the rest of this is like geeking out, being nerdy, like actually going through some really cool examples of how to use AI. So to get you excited, some of the things we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about using AI to help you create ideas for your content, which we already went over that a little bit earlier, but I figured it'd be a good idea to go over that today, skim over it. We're going to use AI to generate graphics and thumbnails for like YouTube videos and covers and graphic imagery and stuff like that you can use for posts. AI for written content, and then go over a couple tools that you can utilize for AI. And one of the things I'm going to show you is if you've seen those like Bigfoot or those gorilla videos of like the vlogging gorilla and talking like he's a human being stranded out in the woods and stuff like that. I'm going to show you how they do that because it's pretty mind-blowing the way that you can do it. But one of the things that you're going to really want to like, as there's going to be a lot of really cool stuff that we go into, and we use this every day in our business as we create content, and I use all this stuff every day too. But one of the things that you want to keep in mind is don't overwhelm yourself. Like I'm going to show you some really cool shit, but that doesn't mean that you have to like up and go do every one of these things. Most of the stuff is very simple. Like I'm not going to show the super advanced stuff that maybe I'm even still testing and learning myself. But we maybe at some point in the future we'll have a session where I bring on an AI expert to go over that kind of stuff. But that's some of the stuff we're going to go over right here, right now. So make sure you pay attention, ask any questions if you have any. So that being said, let's start off with, now this is going to be kind of all over the place. So just try to stick with me as I go along. I'm going to try to keep it as congruent as possible. So the first thing is using AI to help create video ideas. So we already kind of went over this a little bit in a earlier segment. I think that was like either Monday or Tuesday that we did it. But I talked about one of the biggest roadblocks that people run into when creating content of any sort, whether it's a podcast, YouTube videos, or social media content, is that they run into the issue of not having enough to talk about. So I gave you the methods in which you can create unlimited topics, and it's very, very simple. So let's have ChatGPT open here. And as I go here, let's just say, for example, let's just do like Ghost supplements, right? I love Ghost. Ghost is one of my favorite brands. And let's just say like you're a supplement company, right? Let's go to their homepage just to keep it fresh and simple. No, I don't want 20% off right now. Okay. I'm going to copy this right here. Now, the prompt that I give, like we can kind of modify this however we want. And obviously we have like prompts that we can use for whatever. But let's just say that we want 50 video topics to do for social media and some ideas. So what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to take my website. Let's say you own Ghost and you're putting your website in here. And we're just going to say, I need 50. You could say 100. You could say 200. You could say 1,000. I need 50 topics to do social media videos on based on the content from my website. Okay, so we'll keep it simple like that. If you want to get more specific, there's sometimes where I'm more specific and I'm like, I just want to, because I do social media, podcast, and YouTube management. I do consulting. I do on-site video shoot. Sometimes I'm like, I just want to talk about podcasting, so I'll put that in there. And I'll say I only keep it, like, if you have any specifics that you want, then put that in there. So we'll hit enter. And what it's going to do is it's going to scrape all of the pages from your website, and then it's going to give you what you need. So what I like about this too sometimes is it'll, like what it's doing here is it'll segment it into different types of content. So this one will say like brand identity and founders, supplements and nutrition, apparel, merch, lookbooks. So like it'll give you a bunch of like actual kind of like categories, if you will. So let's just peek into some of these. So this one is the meaning behind Ghost slogan, be seen. So we could do a video on what does it mean to be seen? Why is that our slogan? There's a video right there. Then let's hop on to here. Spotlight on Ghost Whey flavors. Okay, that's a good one. So the reason why I use Ghost Protein is because I love the Oreo and Chips Ahoy flavors. I don't really like the other ones, but the other ones, like, they're good flavors. Those are just my preference, but the great flavors. So like, why not do like a test on them, or like have a stranger, like, you ever seen, when I was younger, I'd go to Chicago and they would have like a Coke and a Pepsi stand, and you would blind test them and decide between Pepsi and Coke which one was better. Why not do something like that on the streets with Ghost Protein and have people test that out? And a lot of these are really simple, like behind the scenes of Warped Tour apparel. Warped Tour apparel. The hell? I love Warped Tour. I wish they would bring it back. Under construction. Okay, so that website's under construction. I guess they have Warped Tour apparel. Anyway, so they could talk about that, right? So I didn't even know that, and I follow them on social media. A photo series, people wearing ghost gear at the gym, like that's whatever. And that's the thing, is you don't have to take these word for word. You can take these whichever, you could take like number 22, 27, 16, 15, and then run away with that. But the ideas that it gives you, that's exactly what you're looking for. So let's go back up here to like this one. And let's just say for 6 through 10, it's where the ideation comes into play. I don't know why that didn't copy. Copy. Okay. So now what you want is you're going to say, let's say you pick, okay, so next step is you've gone through these, you know exactly which ones you want to do. You're like, all right, here's the 10 videos that I'm going to do. Now what you do is you say, here's the topics I want to do. Please give me, I always say please because if AI takes over the world, then it's not going to be pissed at me. Please give me, let's just say 3 to 5 bullet points per topic that I can discuss on video. Include a strong hook scripted that is either a bold statement or a question. Okay, because we talked about that yesterday. That's how you start it. Hit enter. Now you can get a little bit more specific, more particular if you want, but we'll start off with number 6 here. So spotlight on ghost whey flavor. So the hook would be, this isn't your average whey protein. It tastes like your favorite cheat meal and hits like a macro-friendly powerhouse. So talking points would be overview of macros per serving. 25 grams protein, low sugar, low fat. Pretty sure it has no sugar, no fat. Real flavor collabs. So like then you talk about the collabs. Like we talk about Chips Ahoy, we talk about Oreo, cereal milk that actually tastes like the branding. And it does actually. And then why Ghost whey mixes smoother and cleaner than most. When to use it. That's each one of these are a topic itself too, but you can kind of compress this into one video if you wanted to. But each one of these, like this one right here, when to use it, dude, like that could be like 5 or 20 different videos. So this is great. This is a great place to start, but these are the topics that we're going to briefly skim over as we do our video. And the amazing thing about editing video, by the way, is that as I go through here, I can knock out this bullet point, pause for a second while I'm recording, just let it roll. So I can knock out that point, stop for a second, look at my notes. All right, the next one is this, real flavor collabs. Talk about that. And then an editor will go in and clip out the dead space in between and make it one congruent video. That way you don't have to get it all in one shot. Little hot tip for you. Okay, so that being said, that's what we have here. Now, I haven't talked about this yet, but I am very much against scripting. The only thing I would script would be your hook. So if you don't like this hook, then have ChatGPT help generate some other hooks for you if you want. But I don't like scripting because in my eyes, you shouldn't be talking about something that you don't know inside and out. I get it. Some people are afraid to be on camera and that sort of thing, but get over your fear, practice it. Practice makes perfect. You're going to get better at it the more you do it. That being said, with scripting, the other reason why is because like 99% of people aren't news anchors and they can't read off a teleprompter or a script and stay human. One of the main reasons why you do video content is because it makes a connection with somebody with visuals and audios, and you can see body language, you can see emotions, you can see reactions, and that's how you connect with people through video. When you're reading off a teleprompter and a script, it's very hard to do that. I've shot videos with over 300 people over my career, and only 2 people were allowed by me to do their scripting and put it on a teleprompter because they're actually good at it because they had previous experience. So notate that. Okay, so that's what we have here. So this is a great, obviously like we're going to be coming up with our video ideas. You could do this for podcast episodes. I could say, great, now I'm doing a podcast and I need 5 ideas that will last 60 minutes. And then it can give us like some really good ideas of what to do. The secret sauce behind Ghost, branding that hits different. Like we can kind of combine some of these. And this is the amazing thing about AI is now you can go through here, pick which one you want, modify it however you want. And that's like ultimately the best way to kind of create your topics. So anytime I'm doing a video content day, and I need help with coming up with my topics, I'll literally pop in here, and oftentimes ChatGPT will give me ideas, and I'm like, yeah, I'm an expert on that, but I never thought about talking about that before. And then there you go. Or it can modify it. And the thing is like when you do a video on one thing, just because you already did a video today doesn't mean you can do the same video 3 months from now, because you're going to provide different context. You're going to tell it with a different story. You're going to give different examples. So it's not going to be the same video. So just keep that in mind, because I think that's important. A lot of people get tripped up on that. Like, oh, I already did that video. Who cares? Like, if somebody already seen it, and if somebody had already seen it and they see it again 3 months from now, what are they going to do? Like, oh, you already put that video out? Like, who cares? Because you're just putting content out, and chances are that person's not going to see it anyway because of the way the algorithm works. So just keep that in mind. All right, next thing that we're going to go through is using, so we went over like creating video ideas, YouTube video ideas, crafting scripts and outlines. Okay, cool. So let's kind of pivot a little bit, and we're going to go to starting to talk about thumbnails and graphics. We'll come back to written copy here in a second, but I already showed you kind of like from a video perspective yesterday how you can use like CapCut to help you clip out social media clips and stuff like that from your long form videos. So go back to watch that if you wanted to. You literally, with CapCut, can just drag and drop. I don't even know if, let me see if it'll pull it up. With CapCut, if you use CapCut, and I think Descript will do this as well. I know a lot of people that swear by Descript, but with CapCut, you literally have this feature right here, long videos to short, and you can click on that, upload your long form video, and it'll chop it up just like, you know, a video editor would. And then you can edit the captions and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. Like, it's very, very useful, honestly. And normally it does a good job, because what it's going to do is transcribing the video, and then it'll go through and modify, you know, the clips and that sort of thing. So that being said, let's hop into thumbnails and graphics. This is one of my favorite things to go over, because the amazing things that AI can do with this is just absolutely fantastic. So let's just say, for example, I do this with a lot of clients. Let's say, for example, you have a YouTube channel that you're running, and you need to not only generate video ideas, but you also need ideas for your thumbnails, and then also for your titling. Here's a great way to do this. So we're going to take this transcript. This is a transcript of a podcast that we did. Let's upload that bad boy right here, and we're going to say, here's a podcast I did that I need 5, and you can name the number that you want, 5 concepts for titles, and titles that are SEO driven and, oh my God, I can't spell. I'm not using my normal keyboard. SEO driven and has keywords, my God, keywords and key phrases in it. There we go. That was throwing me off. Okay. Along with that, 5 concepts for thumbnails for the YouTube video that are eye-popping and will stop scrollers. That's what we want. Okay, so we pop in there. I have some other like I've gotten feedback from clients. I've gotten feedback from like what the feedback that I give, and I pop that into the chat, and then it kind of like context that, so or index that, and then puts it in there as we go along. So we have compiling feedback. So that's some of the things that it can do, right? So for this one, let's just look. And again, you can modify this, and it's not always going to be like perfect the first time around, but at least this will help you. This cuts down your work by a lot. So let's just look at the titling. So titling, it says the 5 core traits every entrepreneur needs to succeed in business. That's amazing. That's a really good one, right? Start a business the right way. 5 mindset shifts that can ignore. That one's all right. Why most startups fail and 5 traits to keep you in the game. That's good. From zero to growth, 5 unsexy. Nah, I don't like that one already. The real startup blueprint, resilience, focus. No. So I like 1 and 3. 1's by far the best. Let's look at the concepts that it gave. So text 5 traits that built our business. Okay, so then it says what it's going to do is basically going to give you a visual. So you're going to do a split screen with you on one side in action, the other side showing keywords like resilience, ownership. That one's okay. So here's what I'm going to do. I want to take this. Well, actually, let's do this. Startup success starts here. This is what no one tells you. Avoid these startup traps. Let's do this one. So I like this. So we're going to do, I'm going to do title. Oh my God. Title 1 and thumbnail concept 4. Please generate a YouTube thumbnail graphic based on the concept 4. Okay, so what I'm objectively trying to do here, let me be clear. So now it's going to generate an image based on the way that it articulated it to be laid out. What I am going for is to just get a visual of what I need to utilize for my thumbnail, right? So it talked about how it's going to put a face in it. It's obviously not going to put my face in it because I can do that in Canva or Photoshop later on. But what we're looking for is an actual layout so we can just piece it together. It's like literally imagine you have like a puzzle. Let's just say like your typical thumbnail creation is like building a puzzle without the picture. Like it's in your head, you gotta put it together. But with this, you can actually have the picture and then have the puzzle pieces and then just put it together. That's ideally what we're going for. So it kind of cuts down the work on the creative side. Now I don't know what it's generating here. This kind of looks kind of strange, but we'll let this kind of generate. However, something else that I could do is I could say, here, let's do this. Let me see what did it give me? Oh, no, I need this one. Okay, so let's just say this one said Red X over big money bags and charts, checklist saying ego, resilience. Okay. That one's okay. Let's take a look. Resilience. Let's do this one. You holding a match to paper label excuses. Let's do this. I love this. Okay, so this is great. The name of the podcast is Burning the Ship, so this really matches up with that. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to say I need a graphic. Sometimes what I'll do, the reason why I'm doing this right now, sometimes what I'll do is I'll actually generate the background graphic first and then build around that with the text that I need just based off of the concepts that we have and then put the image of the person on it. So let's just say I need a graphic generated with the idea below. I need it. Sometimes you have to tell it what you need it formatted. So I just do that standard. I need it formatted in 1920 by 1080. That's landscape. And make it realistic. Okay, so it's going to generate that for me. Let's pop back over here. I don't know if this is done. It's adding details. So as we're going along here, but you guys see what I'm doing. So yeah, so this isn't amazing the way it did. Sometimes you got to pop back into another area to do this. Another good method that you could do as well is going to Sora. So this is hosted by ChatGPT, but it's a little bit more specific for imagery. And you can create images with Sora that are much higher detail. So Sora is really good for that. The only thing I don't like about Sora is that you can't do it in like the 9:6 or 6:9 ratio. It has to be like 3:2, which is fine for some occasions, but whatever. So I could even take that exact same thing here, holding a burning match to a paper labeled excuses with a ship burning in the background. And let's see if Sora will give us anything better. Let me move this. We can get 2 versions of it. It's going to be an image, and then we're going to upload that. Okay, so that'll take a little bit of time to generate. So you see here, like, I don't really like the way this looks. However, we have the layout. So we know that this is going to be an image of me sitting here like this, and then there's going to be text that says, avoid these startup traps with a money bag and a red X over it with a scaling thing. Now, we can restructure this however we want, and then you have the words over here. But this at least gave us the puzzle picture that we need, and then we can craft it and critique it as we go along in Canva or Photoshop. So that's kind of the process, the ideation process. So this is still generating, and you can see this one is a lot better. So it's still generating that for us. And then Sora is 15% of the way through that. Let's take a look at some other ones that I've tried. So like this one here, I needed a graphic for a thumbnail we were doing where it's literally like the title of the video is something like build your own cash house, where it's basically like talking about an investment property that's going to cash flow. And so I went to Sora and I was like, give me a construction worker using stacks of cash to build this single family house. And that's what it spit out. This looks amazing. This one is whatever, but it gave me 2 versions. But this looks amazing. So I used this for one of the thumbnails and basically made that the sideshow piece, and then I had an image of the client on there and that sort of thing. So this was just absolutely fantastic the way that turned out. That's still generating. So, okay, so then we can use this one too. So we could say like, there's a burning ship in the background with the word excuses getting lit on fire. That's eye-catching. That looks amazing. I would use something like this where I would pop that onto Photoshop, add the image of my client on here, and then you could probably just get away with that. And that is a great YouTube thumbnail. So these are just some ways that you can generate some really, really good graphics for specifically thumbnails. And even so, like I could even take this picture specifically without it being a thumbnail, just the image, upload it to Facebook with a really well thought out caption that talks about building and I could have ChatGPT do that, which we'll do that next. I could have ChatGPT take the context of maybe a video I did and then restructure that as a written post and post that with this image, because image posts on Facebook do really well. And that's a really good way to do it. So let's see. So I just finished this up. So these I don't really care for. They look a little like, let's just say like, make it real. Obviously, like I don't like the cartooniness of it. And let's just do one image so that it takes a little bit less time. Okay, so now it's going to add that to the queue. But ideally, like this looks fine. This is similar to what it created in ChatGPT. And like I said, Sora does a really good job of adding detail to it. As you saw with this one, like the detail in this is just absolutely outstanding. So if we need to be specific and just say like make it realistic, then I'm cool with that. So now we can take this, add this to a thumbnail, and then post it that way. Or I could literally just take this image, save it, and then post it with a post that talks about not giving excuses. In fact, let's do that real quick because we're bleeding into the next topic here. And oh God, it's already 2:50. So I got to wrap up here in just a second. But that being said, let's go ahead and run through this. So I want to show you this kind of bleeding into our next one. So let's just say, with that same transcript, I need a well-articulated Facebook post based off the transcription attached. Now, you can get very specific on what you want. I don't want to do that, but let's just see what it gives us. So it can give us like some really good stuff. So normally what it'll do is I'll allow it to just kind of give us like a baseline here. Sometimes if you like to use emojis, you can leave those in. I sometimes don't like to use emojis, so I'll prompt it to remove all emojis. But that's what this can do, right? So in this post, it says a 19 or 1519, and this is Jason's whole thing. Choice that echoes say he burned the ships, no retreat, only forward. That's the mindset you need to start a business, totally commit. So now what I can do is I can take this and modify it however I want, but copy that and then take this image, download that, post it with that copy, and now I've got a badass Facebook post that's going to go out and looks really great, right? So that's some of the stuff that you can do with these images. Some of the other things that I would recommend tools-wise. No, this is done real quick. So this is really good. Like this, it's different, but in some regards, like this is better because I like the burned paper more. So you could use that. So that's what Sora did. But Sora is really good with a lot of different stuff. Like you see the detail in the water and that sort of thing. Like it's different. So a couple of the really quick tools I'm going to show you. Envato, I'm going to go over this and bleed over it a little bit. But Envato Elements, you can have a subscription. I forget how much it is, but you pay one subscription and you get access to a crazy amount of assets. So if I needed a arrow for one of my thumbnails that I can like add into Photoshop or Canva, I can go down here to these 3D ones, or you have graphics too. But normally I could go into like here, and these aren't really AI generated in any way. Actually, sometimes they are. But let's say I want this one. This is an okay one. I can do a view 360 rendering, and I can move it however I want, and then download this angle. And then now it's going to download that for me. And now I have this image that I can pop into my graphic and pointing to like that paper that's burning. So it's a really good one. And then they have Gen AI as well. You can generate images. One of the things I actually use the most is the voice gen. So I'll literally take a podcast episode. Let's just say, let me see if is it going to show me my history? Yeah, well, okay. Let's just say like I had a podcast recently where I didn't have time for the host to be able to record an intro to it, but they were basically featured as a guest on somebody's show, but we repurposed it for their show. So we had AI generate a voice that's close to their voice. Um, Actually, I don't know if it's going to play that. And what's awesome about this is you could script it. Like obviously we scripted it and it read it word for word. And I think you can do up to 2 minutes on this. But it's really, really useful when you're in a pinch and you need that help. So that's some of the stuff you could do there. All right. That being said, we got to wrap up here in just a second. Matt Andrews, I see you there 8 minutes ago. I appreciate you hopping on, buddy. Um, So let's wrap up. We got a few minutes, and I want to make sure that I hit. There was so much. I'm telling you guys, there was so much to go over. One of the things I skipped over that I actually really love that I wanted to touch on really, really quick is Napkin.ai. I love this for um just basic stuff. Let me see. Do I have a sign in? I'm pretty sure I do because I've used this a lot of times. Sign in with Google. Never sign in with Google because then if I needed to reset my password or anything, let's see. All right, I think we're in. Okay, cool. I don't even know what this was about. Okay, so basically what you do, the idea of this is I'm literally just going to show it to you. So, import file. Let's just do that, yeah. Hopefully it'll take this. Let's see, is it going to do that? Okay, let's just do this. Hold on one second. We're just going to copy. Okay, so the idea of this is that you can take transcripts and have images generated based on the context of what is in your actual writing. So the cool thing about this, so you see it's putting all this here. So it's not doing anything with the writing. It's going to give you graphics that you can use for whatever you want. Okay, so let's just say like this here. So you hover over it and it'll give you all these little graphics. So if you have like a video where you're given analytics and statistics and stuff like that, it can give you really, really good graphics that you can download as PNGs like this, right? So this one's cool. Foundational mindset for business, long-term growth and resilience, core principles, Jason Sewer's experience applicable. So the better like context you have, the better. So let's just see like, is this gonna close out of that? Maybe we do this. There we go. Let's try that. See what it'll give us for this. So obviously, like I said, again, if you have statistics, you could do that. So mindset nuggets, consistency. So like it'll just give you these really, really cool AI generated, and you can go, sometimes it'll give you a crazy amount and you can change the styles, the colors and everything, fonts, all of that. So let me see. I have like, yeah, so I use this one, how to turn your podcast episodes into a book, and this was cool. So like I literally had to do this. Look at this. This is so cool. Like literally a step-by-step process of how to do it. You can do it by content selection, transcription, editing, chapter organization, book design, final review. So literally and then you could spit this out, change the colors and everything, and it's just super cool. So anyway, that was a little neat one that I wanted to show you real quick. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and let's see, what do we got next? So last thing is about written content. So this is where we've already spilled into this a little bit, but I definitely wanted to show you how you could generate great content for AI, or for AI. Hold on one second. So let's just say, all right, we're going to work with a clean slate here. Okay. So let's say you have a podcast and you need show notes written for it. So show notes are typically going to be like good description with title, and then you have like timestamps of the talking points that you're talking about, maybe quotables, maybe 5 key takeaways, and then any links and resources mentioned in the episode. Well, it used to be up until like a year ago, I actually have somebody on my team who she's moving into more executive roles. So this came along really nicely. But I had somebody on my team that would literally write show notes from scratch just like that. And that's always how it's had to be. But Now what we do is we take the transcription of the podcast episode, we throw it into ChatGPT, and I actually use this one here. This is a GPT that I use. That's just, I write engaging podcast show notes. And then all I have to do is pop in here, click this, summarize this show notes. So it's going to tell me to upload it. So we're going to take that same transcript that we used earlier, pop this in here, upload that. Now it's going to scrape the entire transcript and then give us, and whether we like this title or not, we could still have it. Like normally at the end of the prompt, I'll say like, give me 5 title options that are here. Okay. So this is, these kind of look meh. Like we can read through this. Now, obviously what I'm going to tell you is when it comes to this kind of stuff, don't just set it and forget. Don't literally just copy this word for word and paste it. Make sure you read through it, because sometimes it transcribed names incorrectly. It'll transcribe information incorrectly. So you need to still make sure you have human eyes on it to fact check everything. But this will get you everything that you need from the writing perspective. So the ways I would modify this is I would say, you know, I don't like the emojis, so remove emojis. I'm going to say add more episode highlights, because it's a 30-minute podcast episode and I think it could use more highlights, which are highlights are these basically the timestamps, because that's what will index with search. And then also include 5 key takeaways. And then you could literally say, and quotables. Okay. So then it'll regenerate it. And then meanwhile, what I'll do is I'll say, give me 5 title options. Okay. And then, so here it's going to modify all that. So it removed emojis, it added more episode highlights for me. All these are SEO based, like how patients paid off after 18 months of slow growth, learning from early missteps, including foreclosure, and why debriefs matter. It gave me 5 key takeaways, which is fantastic. Love this. Gave me some quotables and included the links that were mentioned in the episode itself, right? So we still want to fact check these, make sure they go to the right place. So does this go to the right place? Probably, it looks like it is. 608B Capital, it is. Okay, so that's that. So then now I can take this and copy and paste that. And then I'm going to ask it to give me 5 title options. This is where we can start going into the ideation phase of the thumbnails and that sort of thing. So I can take these, maybe I say like, I like 3, but give me some variations of it. Sometimes I literally just type and then count on like the autocorrect to happen. So I can have it give me some variations of those titles, right? So that's what I look for. But then that's it. Then I could say like, give me 5 different Facebook posts to promote this episode. Okay. So now it can give me all these. Like these are all really good posts. Like, and some of these are too long or too short. Make them longer and more thoughtful and information packed. Okay. So then I can modify it this way. But you see how like you may think like, oh, that seems like I gotta modify. Like, how long would it have taken you to write all this shit? You know what I mean? Like, make sure that you're utilizing these the way that, like, just keep in mind what you used to have to do. And now you could just give it a prompt and it automatically updates all this stuff for you. So these are really good posts. Like this one, let's be honest, entrepreneurship gets romanticized way too much. You scroll through social media, see 6-figure screenshots, blah, blah, blah. And then we can say episode, like check out this episode. And now we have good content, right? So the other thing that you could do, last but not least, is now you could say, I need 5 social media clips pulled from this episode that are less than 60 seconds. Please timestamp those for me. Okay. Then what it'll do is it'll give us, now sometimes it's not like extremely accurate, but these are good, right? Like blame the enemy of progress. Timestamp is 12:26 through 13:25. Jason talks about extreme ownership and how wasting time on blame stalls progress. It's the raw truth about successful founders navigating setbacks and fast and decisively. So now I can go into social media and say, like, or go into the core video and say, cool, like right at this point, I'm going to clip it. Right at the next point, I'm going to clip that. That's a social media video. Add captions, add B-roll, edit it a little bit, and that's a video. As opposed to me having to scrub through the video content, which we used to have to do, and that was time consumption. That ate up a lot of time. We typically give our video editors 30 to 45 minutes to edit one single video, and half that time was just to go scrape through video content just to find good clips. And now we can do that with AI like this, so it cuts down the time drastically. I think that's all I have. So there's a couple of random tools that you could use. Number one, I showed you Envato. Envato is fantastic for like elements that you need. And then I'm wrapping up here. I know we went a little over time, but we had a lot to run through. I told you guys it would be a mouthful. But with Envato, you can get, you have video templates for like B-roll stuff that you could use. You have stock video, you have audio. So if you're starting a podcast and you need some music, you can go here. You can actually have AI generate music for you now. So if you're like, I want a rocky, let's try it. I actually haven't tried this yet. Rocky heavy riff with techno and hip hop. Let's see what it does. I honestly don't even know. We're going to see what it does. We're going to test this together. But this is cool. Like you could do all this stuff. You can get fonts. You can do like stock photos. So if you need stock photos for whatever reason, like even when we're designing graphics, sometimes I can't get ChatGPT to give me exactly what I want. So I'll come here to either the graphics or the photos and look for something specific that I want, like of a house or something. So let's see what it gave us here. I mean, it's cool. It's not heavy, but whatever. It's still going though. Is that what it's generates similar? Let's see. It's still going. Maybe we'll wait for that to go. All right. So while we're waiting on that, but this is a great place to be able to find whatever you need. It's giving me a bunch. Okay. All right. The next REI Marketing Weekly, you're going to hear this song. This is great. That's actually a nasty riff. So maybe you'll hear that on my next intro. But that's really cool. So now you have like completely custom music. You're never gonna have to worry about like copyrights and stuff like that on your YouTube content. So and this was all AI generated. I don't know what it's like going up to because it already gave us two. Maybe it gives us 3 tracks. But anyway, so that's all stuff that you could generate. Oh yeah, it gives us a couple more. Yeah, sounds like pop evil. Okay, so this one was definitely the most badass. But anyway, so that's what we could do. Now, I told you I would tell you how they generate those videos of Bigfoot. So if you literally go up here and you go to video gen, this is amazing. So I'll just do like social media. So like, let's just say like Bigfoot telling us how hard it was to climb Mount Everest. And what's cool about this platform, I don't even know. How do you spell that? How do you spell Everest? Yeah, I got that right. Damn tools. I got that right. Okay. So then you could click this button and it'll enhance the actual like close-up shot of a large weather. So it'll literally enhance like the prompt for you. Yeah, we're just gonna do it. We're just gonna do it. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we're gonna let it generate. Okay, so and this is the last thing that we'll do. And as we're wrapping up, we'll watch this together. I don't know how good it's gonna be, but this is literally how people will create those Bigfoot videos of like Bigfoot vlogging and that sort of thing. But anyway, hopefully that helped. I mean, we went over a lot of stuff today. I know AI is one of those new sexy things that people are going over, but it is truly a game changer when it comes to one, taking it seriously to make sure you're utilizing it for your business and actually being found and using content to be found, and that's the way you get found. But then also how to leverage it for like your toolbox, like actually being able to open up the toolbox and you have AI tools in there that you can use to help you generate content, stay consistent with it, and that sort of thing. We went over a lot of stuff this week, but I honestly like thank you guys. Anybody that watched this, whether you hung around for quite some time or you um, either you hung around for a good amount of time or whatever. But thank you so much for hopping in and joining me. Here's the, I don't know if you're gonna be able to hear it. Let's see. Oh man, I didn't do it with the okay. You see it there. Okay, so like, hold on one second. Where's Gen AI video gen? I think you have to add, yeah, audio off. There we go. Okay, so let's try this again. Well, show me the history. Copy prompt. Okay, so let's go back. We're gonna add audio. Okay, there we go. And it'll actually speak to you. But anyway, while that's generating, but once again, we went over a lot of stuff. So take this for what it is, like one step at a time. Content is one of those things where you could just load up like hundreds of pieces of content at a time just from the start. You've got to make sure you start from ground zero. And again, like a lot of what we did, one of the reasons why I reserved this day for the last day was because this is all the cool shit that we get to go through. But at the end of the day, if you don't have your proper plan in check, which we created a game plan on day two. Day one, we talked about like personnel, operations, processes, systems, stuff like that. That's all not the sexy stuff, but it is the stuff you absolutely have, or you will not stay consistent with your podcast, with your YouTube channel, with your social media. Anybody that I know that has a podcast that's ongoing or social media presence that's ongoing, they may not have it as tidied up as I do, but they definitely have a process and a game plan for what they're putting out and staying consistent with. It's important. Like you have to have it or you're going to fail and you're going to give up and you're going to wipe your hands clean and say, podcast didn't work, social media didn't work, YouTube didn't work, let's move on. And then you start to fall behind with what I gave today about how AI is changing the game with how businesses are getting indexed and searched for. It's important, and you got to make sure that you're following along with that. And it's not a trend. I promise you, like this is the new way of life. This is the way things are going to be, and they already are. And if you don't jump on the wagon now, you are going to get left behind in business. So that's important to understand. Like we got to make sure we're looking at that. This is 98% done. So once this is completed, then I'll hop off here, but it's obviously hanging at 98% and it's going to stick there for a minute. So, but for those of you who are hanging out, if anybody is, thank you for hanging out. Thank you, Gabby, for being IT support. She's so proud of me. I love that. It's amazing. My biggest supporter. Can't hear it. Oh, you can't hear the music? Damn, that sucks. Sorry about that. This is still going? What in the world? We're all hanging on for dear life right now. Let me close out YouTube. I don't want to refresh because then it might start it all over again. Let's duplicate. Let's see. Nope. It's sticking at 98%. I don't want to be. I mean, it says your video should be. I mean, it literally went all the way up to 98%, and then it's there. I don't want to use another token either because I can utilize this for other stuff. This is a cool one. Let me show you history. Hold on. So that's our husky. She's a complete asshole, but that's our husky talking, and she's just being judgmental about her owners. So that's what we did. God damn it, this is not. Yeah, sorry guys. Maybe we don't have a full. We'll try it one more time. It already used my token, so I didn't. Yeah, it already used my token, so I didn't want to do another one. But we'll do one more and see if it'll give it to us. Anyway, let me close out that. Okay, cool. Well, I think that's it. We're just waiting on this, honestly. So if anybody's there popping in, like obviously if you're watching this post live, then just fast forward it to when this actually creates it. And hopefully this is climactic. I don't want it to be anticlimactic. And we did go 15 minutes over. So hopefully I'm not like wasting time here and this can be cut up. But I thought this would be fun to show people if you are interested. But anyway, let's see here. %64. Okay. Oh, I was gonna say also while this is generating, if you are still on, if you are a person that needs help and you need some assistance, you need some guidance, you need a little bit of consulting or whatever, I do actually offer consulting for this kind of stuff. But if you did hop on and you're watching this right now, send me a message and I'd give you a free 30 minutes, like absolutely no, like no strings attached, honestly, like 100% honestly. Okay, hold on. It just oh man, I hope this plays. Hold on, I'm gonna download this and then send it to my phone and then I'll play the speaker on my phone because Gabby said that the sound isn't coming through. So let me send this to my phone right now and then I'll put it in the microphone. But it's absolutely hilarious. But if you're listening and you need assistance, I'm offering a free 30 minutes to anybody that needs help with this stuff. So send me a direct message. Honestly, if you are somebody that's the CEO and you have a team that does this stuff, don't hesitate to reach out and ask. Okay, so here's what it says. So we're gonna try to play it at the same time. Let's do this.
A long road, but the wisdom gained was worth every step. It was a long road, but the wisdom gained was worth every step.
Okay, so that's what AI generated, guys. So that's how you can do it with AI. So take that for what it is. But that's it for today. I am tired. It's been a long week. I have 5 hours worth of content, so you'll probably be seeing this out on social media as well. But thank you for connecting if you did, and we'll do this again sometime. You guys take it easy. Bye-bye.